Okay, Bryan's Garden 2024, kind of a bit of a bust this year. The zucchini was Romanesca, it wasn't that good. Dill's Atlantic pumpkins, I've got 2 huge pumpkins, which are great. This bed had jack-o'-lantern pumpkins and a gourd, and the gourd took over, although I do have one jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. There was kohlrabi here, and then Swiss chard, and then kale, and leeks. Leeks are delicious. I had 6 different types of lettuces, and then parsley, and beets, which are ready to be picked. Jalapenos and green peppers, which are doing well. A big tomato which fell over and is doing horribly. These are the metal beds that I replaced this year. The wood beds were decomposing. Cherry tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, cucumber which is doing okay, and then my onions, which are doing horribly this year. More onions. I planted 50% less onions this year than normal, and they're all doing horribly. Some snapdragons that didn't come up. Corn, which is doing well, and then really tall sunflowers, which are fun. Mint, tons of beans. I had radishes down here before, and now it's carrots, and they're doing fine. Rosemary, more beans, more carrots. A snapdragon, which is pretty, but it didn't do all that well. They should grow much taller. Artichoke, which I had to replace this year, but I never eat the artichoke, but the bees love it. Rhubarb. 2 cherry trees, which had more fruit on them than ever. Asparagus, which I had a ton of asparagus this year. In the background there is a Honeycrisp apple. It's not producing that well this year, but every other year it does better. Bartlett pears, which are doing really well. There's another big pumpkin. And I've never planted gourds before, and I did another gourd and it took over this bed. And then jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, I have 2 big ones coming. A red apple tree that I never liked the apples. A Granny Smith apple tree, which are delicious. So many blueberries this year. And here's where I lost control of the garden this year. More cucumbers. I planted, I didn't weed very well this year, and I've got a normal one, a Persian one, and a Armenian cucumber. Potatoes. I had a ton of potatoes this year. The Granny Smith apples, and then Asian pears, which are doing really well, and then totally lost control of the weeds. This was winter squash. There's a few more winter squash, butternut squash, blah blah blah. I totally lost control of the weeds, and they're not doing all that well. Grapes. I've never not watered the grapes, but it said, from what I read, not to water them this year. And they're good. There's a lot of grapes on them. I just don't know if they're going to be all that succulent. We will find out, but a ton of grapes. Fig tree, my native flowers, which were really pretty earlier. Now it just looks like weeds. And that's about it.